Would she be able to break his neck with a head scissors? Hi guys, my name is Joe and welcome to Fighting Words, the martial arts library. On this channel I review martial arts books and talk about other martial arts related subjects. This is a segment I call Media Fight Monday, where I take a fight scene from movies, television, and animation, and I break down the action and then grade it based on realism and storytelling value. This is a fight scene from the movie Mortal Kombat from 1995, based on the video game, and our fighters are Kano, who you see right here, played by Trevor Goddard, and Sonya Blade, who's played by Bridget Wilson. Now, Bridget Wilson Sampras, because she married Pete Sampras. As far as their backgrounds go, Mr. Goddard actually had a rather successful amateur boxing career. He tried to turn pro. He went 2-1-1, which is sort of inauspicious. So that's where his career ended. Bridget Wilson, as far as I am able to tell, was sort of learning on the job here. Here's the thing. Cameron Diaz was originally cast as Sonya Blade, and she'd been training for months and wound up getting injured right before they began shooting. So, Bridget Wilson, who was filming Billy Madison at the time, the second Billy Madison wrapped filming, she flew out to Thailand. It was like learning how to fight between scenes and insisted on doing all of her own stunts, like a boss. Apparently she did the same thing in the Schwarzenegger movie Last Action Hero, although it said that a lot of her scenes got cut. As far as the setup to the scene, I guess you can add a little bit of setup in that Kano is a criminal that Sonya Blade has been tracking down, and he killed her partner. It's Mortal Kombat. They're going to fight. So he's taunting her right here, saying that he slit her partner's throat. Forward swing, back swing. Alright. He is so much bigger than she is. She can barely hold his massive wrist in her tiny little hand. Yeah, I don't think she'd be able to stop a swing like that, just based on the size difference between the two. At any rate, they've locked up, and he's talking, which isn't the best thing to do in a fight, but he's the bad guy. So, narratively, sure, it makes sense. Kicks him in the gut, nice uppercut, the knife flies away, and disappears for the rest of the fight. Ooh, nice backhand, good kick. Ooh, he lands a backhand on her, does significantly more damage. It's a wheel kick and loses her balance, but she regains it. Crescent kick, another wheel kick. Goes for a knee. Oof, hard kick to the body. Here's the thing, yeah, if one of your advantages in a fight is being massive compared to the other person, anytime you have them immobilized, hit them as much and as hard as you can, because you're going to be able to do so much more damage to them than they would be able to do to you. Although we're taking advice from the bad guy here. Alright. This is one of Sonya Blade's signature moves. She throws the guy down. Now, in the video game, she will throw her opponent like completely over in a move that in pro wrestling would most resemble a Hurricane Rana. Head scissors usually has the person facing the other direction. I don't think either person here was capable of pulling that off, so he just sort of slumped down to the side. And he says, "Give me a break." And she goes, "Okay," and breaks his neck. And that's the end of the fight. Alright. Realism. Whew, not a whole lot. Most of the moves were realistic. I think most of the reactions were not. You know, there was a weapon in play, and it goes missing very early on, and nobody tries to get it back. That would have been a tremendous difference maker for either fighter. I would say particularly for Sonya Blade's character. The leg throw is not particularly realistic. Her stopping his swing is not particularly realistic. Again, just given the size difference between them. With that being said, most of the techniques used, except for that leg throw, I've seen people do it in demos, and I've had people swear up and down that it'll work. I don't see it. I don't think something like that works without cooperation. And we could see in that, like, she just sort of like threw her legs up around his, like she wasn't able to really secure a grip on his neck. So, yeah. However, when we take a look at everything else, punches, backhand, like she's swinging hard, which is what it would take. Again, given that size difference, we have seen most of those techniques work in real fights. Maybe not that outside crescent kick. I don't think it looked good for the camera, but I think the fact that she went for a spin kick and sort of stumbled a bit, but then regained her balance. For realism, I like that they left it in. For cinematography, I think that was a bit of a goof. But since we're judging it on realism, I do think that that would be realistic because, especially in a soft surface like sand, you may not be able to hold your balance like you would on a firm, flat surface. Would she be able to break his neck with a head scissors? I don't think from that angle. She just really had her ankles around his neck. There are certain head scissor neck cranks that we see, from my experience, mostly brought on from catch-as-catch-can wrestling. But you got to be closer to the knees. But could you conceivably cause a spinal fracture using a head scissors? Probably. I think it would take a little bit more than what we see here. But I think the idea behind it's solid. I'm going to say because of some of the big lacks of realism, especially with the whole leg scissors thing. That no shade to the actress, or the fight choreographer, who's Pat Johnson, who I forgot to mention up front. Pat Johnson, who's done The Karate Kid and all that. They kept it in because it was one of Sonya Blade's special moves in the Mortal Kombat video game. So I understand why they kept it in, but it's really tanking the realism score. And again, there was a knife at the beginning, and then nobody goes for it after that. I think everything between the knife and the head scissors were probably pretty realistic. I'm feeling a C- just because the things about it that take me out of the realism aspect are such big fixtures in the fight. Again, the big knife being brought in at the beginning, and then we lose it, nobody goes after it. The head scissors. Yeah, I'm just feeling C- for that. As far as storytelling goes, sort of middling. We did see the bad guy do bad guy stuff. He brought a weapon into the equation. He kicked his opponent while she was down. We see the hero getting most of the offense in, and then in professional wrestling terms, she gets cut off by his big backhand swing, and he's kicking her on the ground. And she very quickly gets a reversal toward the end there. I think it sort of came out of nowhere. I think it could have been built up a little bit more. But I think overall, as far as the story that they were telling, they did an okay job. I don't think there was a whole lot that was missing, except for the proverbial Chekhov's knife. Why did you bring a knife into the equation at the beginning of it and it just doesn't come into play later? I think something could have been done with that. If a C is average, I'm just going to give it a C. Again, I think they told a rather tight, cohesive story, but I think it could have been improved in a few different ways. But as far as what it was trying to do, I think it more or less accomplished that. So anyway, guys, that's all I have for this week. If you'd like to support the channel, please consider donating to my Ko-fi account. I'm going to put a link to that in the description. Media Fight Monday comes out the first and third Monday of every month, so tune in if you want to see more of that. Please give me your feedback on it. Like, I remember this movie when it came out. I don't think I saw it in theaters. I don't think my parents would have taken me to see it. But I do remember it being on TBS not long after that. So do you have any memories of this particular film? If you grew up in the 90s, like me, I think you might have. So that's all I got. And thank you for following along with me, and I'll see you later.